I live in Tripoli, Libya, in a beautiful apartment with a big veranda, from where I can see and listen to the world around me. The women speak from one window to another to find out about the latest news. The baby's born. Mabruk, Mazel Tov. It's going to be the bar mitzvah next week. They get engaged and they get married in 3 months. The veranda is my radio, my television. It's where I spend time with my cousin and where I learn about the magic of the women world. The men never speak from one window to another. From the veranda, I can see the inside of my house and the outside world. I love so much my veranda. Women hang out the washing. I can still smell the freshness of the clean laundry. One day, the builder came to our house and then he closed half of our veranda. Our Arab neighbor decided to take half of our veranda, and he decided that it is his right. For the sake of peace and quiet, my father accepted this injustice without fighting back. Not out of fear, but out of love. Because he knew that they would take a violent revenge against our family or Jewish community. They stole my wall! I want to break this wall, but I can't. I want to break it, but I can't. I want to break it, I can't. Injustice, of course. Indifference, of course. From all the world around me. Helplessness, of course. Mine, of my father, of my family, of the Jewish community. But perhaps it's also yours. Perhaps it's the helplessness of all of us. There are many ways to buy your silence, your complicity, your submissiveness. They force you to act illegally, if not you lose your job. They force you to have sex, if not you don't get your job. They threaten you by killing your relative, like it's happened in my family, with my uncle found dead with 39 stab wounds in a pool of blood. They corrupt you. From a simple citizen, they transform you in ambassador, bank director. They give you a diamond ring or a gold Rolex. Oh, they offer you 1 week in a beautiful hotel. They take care of your child that is very ill. They marry you with a member of their family so that you become part of them. And if you act against them, you act against your own family. They put you in prison. And they release you only if you stand by their side. The first injustice, the first silence, the first wall inside of myself. I feel suffocated and excluded from the world. I swallow my anger and my pain, and I become mute and invisible. With a childish sadism, I search my weakest victims. The ants and the flies. My mother saw all this. she decided to comfort me and to calm me, to calm my anger, and she gave me a gift and a task. David, if you will water this plant every day, you will see many miracles. It's important to take care of something. The wound started to bleed again in 1967 when we were forced to leave from Tripoli to Rome because of the 6-day war between Israel and the Arab country. We escaped without money and I couldn't bring my plant. 3 months later, in the Jewish middle school, the Italian teacher gave us an essay. And she said, write what is your biggest desire. I write that my biggest desire is to go back to Tripoli and to water my plant. The next day, when she returned the essay with the result, she called me the last. David, GERBI, I'm convinced that I got a bad grade because normally the last one that she called is the one that did the worst essay. But instead, she said, David, I saw you yesterday working as a waiter in a coffee shop. You work very hard with your job and also as a student. This is an excellent essay. She congratulated with me in front of the class in the school. And suddenly, she bent down the desk and she took something. David, from today, you can water this plant here in Rome. It's the first time I feel happy, at home, and welcome in Rome. But as you know, if you have a wall inside of yourself, we stay there forever unless you do something. Here I am, 44 years later. I am an adult. It's the year 2011. I'm the first and the only legal Jewish rebel doing my part in the Arab Spring. I am in Tripoli again, in front of the synagogue. I stand in front of the wall that Gaddafi built in order to prevent the people to enter the synagogue. Here I am, 44 years later, facing the same dilemma. Breaking the wall or stay silent. I remember the words of my teacher. Insanity is keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The choice between breaking the wall or stay silent has been already made by my unconscious. In a dream I say to you, life without risk is useless, and he agreed. Life goes on, always. Sometimes you follow the flow, sometimes without noticing. You move on with inertia. Another time, in a magic moment, you realize that your choices can change your life. You decide to break the vicious circle. You make a step, and you are somewhere else, like here, now.
The name of Christian people is the God of the Muslims. It's not permitted to stay in the middle of this garbage.
I'm very happy, I'm very proud of myself, I feel my dignity. And the next day, I continued to clean the synagogue with the help of 6 locals that I hired them and paid them. The Italian political authority came to visit me. The American embassy called me to say that they support my action. Also the imam came to visit me, and he is very happy because I gave work to the unemployed locals. The journalists came, also the radio and the television. Gunfire, angry shout. They informed me that they came from all the Libya. to kill me because I broke the law. They don't want the Jew in Libya. I know that in the moment of fear, I can run away. I can hide. Oh, I can fight. Paralyzed by fear. Oh, I can pray.
Se dovessi camminare nella valle tenebrosa della morte, non temerei alcun male, perché tu sei con me. Il tuo bastone e i tuoi incastri mi danno sicurezza.
God, I don't want to be a victim, a hero, or martyr. I just want to consecrate the synagogue where your name is written 3 times. But if you have decided today I have to die, I will accept it. Even if I will feel sorry for the pain that I will cause to my mother, my family, my friend. The fear of danger became bigger, also fomented by the people who pushed me to run away like a thief from the back door, making me think that they want to save my life while they are setting a trap to kill me. The faith in God helped me to make the right decision, to go out from the main door without fear, with dignity. Orfaras el-Folk, el-Talib-i-Hor, Orfaras el-Folk, el-Talib-i-Hor. Put your head up, you are free living. The journalists are waiting for me outside, they surround me. And the bodyguards surround the journalists. At this point, they cannot kill me anymore in front of the camera, and the video, and the television. As the Minister of Justice, Alagi, he's telling me in the next day when he came to visit me in the hotel, The campaign continues on Facebook. They protest in Cairo, in Benghazi, in Misrata, in Tripoli. They arrive in the Market Square. They arrive in the front of the hotel. Inside the lobby, they want to come into my room. In this moment, Yarabawoni, God, listen to me. What shall I do now? What shall I do now? What shall I do? Listen! Smiley! Smiley, listen to me! Listen! Today is Yom Kippur. Anenu, Hanun, Verahum, Anenu. Anenu, Hanun, Verahum, Anenu. Today is Yom Kippur, the most important day of the year. Now I know what I have to do. I have to pray. It's my strongest weapon. The Italian consul and the Libyan Minister of Interior advised me to leave the country. They informed me that the Italian President and the American State Department are following my case with concern and they want to know my intention. I say, it's Yom Kippur. I have to pray. They say, but it's for your safety. You have to leave and then you're going to come back. But I don't want to leave because I know that I'm right. But I also know that they are right. I also know that it's always the same excuse. It's just a pretext to send us away, as they did it with my family, with my community, with all the refugees in general. What hurts me the most is the feeling of being abandoned by my best Tamazic and Arab friend, who frightened by the threat of retaliation from this Islamist extremist. They prefer to abandon me and not to fight against them. I understand them, but this betrayal still hurts me. But this is an old story. I'm trapped in the wall of the hotel. I know in my heart that I have to resist. My grandmother's words came to my mind that give me strength.
È tutto a bene. Aspettare finché è Dio che comanda, Dio che dà. Dice, Dio aiutami. Chi ti dovete aiutare?
I continue to pray in my room. Also my relative, my nephew, my family continue to pray for me. Many other people in different synagogues in the world has been praying for me this day of Yom Kippur.
Shema Yisrael
Also many non-Jewish friends pray for me. In South Africa, in Spain, in Japan, in Australia, in America. I felt also my ancestor pray for me in the Yom Kippur. I will never forget the day of Yom Kippur in Tripoli. I saw God in action. God set free the force of nature. I watched the sea from my window. The waves are growing and flooding the street. I hear the sound of the wave, the sound of the big rain, the sound of the wind. God floods the street and the highway. He stopped the cars that are coming with armed people with the intention to kill me. All this remind me of the miracle of the Red Sea in the Torah and make me feel the tangible and touchable presence of my living God.
And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and submerged Pharaoh's whole army that came into the sea after them.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, they have gone away. I feel a serene silence. An enormous cloud, like a crown of laurel, appear in the sky. I was forgetting. The next morning, the maid, commenting the previous stormy night, said, God is angry with us, Muslim. But how did we get to this point of the story? I think it's time that I introduce myself. My name is David GERBI. I'm a Libyan Italian Sephardi Jew. As you know, the Sephardi Jew have been living, the Jewish, Christian, and Muslim in Spain for centuries in peace. But in 1492, they have been forced to choose between converting to Christianity or to be expelled forever by the Catholic Queen Isabel because she wanted a Spain entirely Christian. Many of the Jews immigrate in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Morocco, in Libya, in Algeria, in Iraq, in Iran, in Yemen, in Syria, in Lebanon. And again, Jew and Muslim has been living in relative peace for hundreds of years, until the creation of the State of Israel. Because of the anti-Zionism and the anti-Semitism, the North Africa and the Middle East nation were no longer safe for the Jew, and they have been forced again into exile. Then we become the forgotten refugee that until today we didn't have recognition, justice, and compensation. But in January 2013, a new Spanish law declared that the Jew can come back to Spain to get their passport. After 521 years, there is a will to repair an historical wrong. Who knows? This gives some hope as a sign. Anyway, I made a request. You never know. As a child in Tripoli, I studied Italian in the morning and Arabic. In the afternoon, I studied the Talmud Torah, Hebrew, and the Torah teach us that the three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they come all from the same forefather, Abraham. And because I hear the three prayer every day in the street, the synagogue, in the Italian Christian school, I learned them by heart.
Padre nostro che sei nei cieli, sia santificato il tuo nome. Venga il tuo regno, sia fatta la tua volontà, come in cielo così in terra. Dacci oggi il nostro pane quotidiano e rimetti a noi i nostri debiti, come noi li rimettiamo ai nostri debitori. E non ci indurre in tentazione, ma liberaci dal male.
In Tripoli, on Friday, all the shops are closed because it's the Muslim day of rest. On Saturday, all the shops are closed because it's the Jewish day of rest. And on Sunday, all the shops are closed because it's the Christian day of rest. So we work only 4 days a week and we study all 4 days a week. That's it. I lived in Tripoli until 1967, when following the 6-day war between Israel and the Arab country, an angry mob exploded in the street in Libya.
La loro storia viene da lontano. La comunità ebraica di Libia era una delle più antiche affacciate sul mare Mediterraneo, con 40 sinagoghe e 2 star, i quartieri ebraici, animati da una vivace vita sociale e diversi circoli di crediti. Dopo secoli di mutuo rispetto e amicizia tra concittadini di fedi diverse, 2 pogrom segnano la definitiva tragica rottura tra ebrei e arabi in Libia. Nel 1945 in primo, e poi nel 1948, quando nasce lo Stato di Israele, centinaia di vecchi, donne e bambini ebrei vengono trucidati, le loro case date al piano, le sinagoghe saccheggiate. Inizia l'esodo dei 40.000 ebrei. Vengono 5.000, ma solo fino al 1967, quando in Israele scoppia la guerra dei 6 giorni, a Sharm l'ultimo popolo dura 40 giorni e cancella da Tripoli la comunità ebraica. I 5.000 profughi fuggono grazie a un ponte aereo che li disperde tra Roma e Tel Aviv.
La guerra dei 6 giorni provocò in tutto il mondo arabo un violento pogrom antisemita che in Libia divenne caccia all'uomo, caccia alle ebrei, e l'infanzia di tali genti venne travolta.
They set the Jewish shop and houses on fire. You can see smoke coming out from the building across the street. Many Jewish families are killed. We are hiding in silence, in the darkness. It's a hot summer. We are locked in our house. Day after day, we live in terror. We don't know what's going to be our destiny. The Radio Cairo encouraged the Libyan to kill the Jew, also in revenge of the victory of Israel. I remember my father, a religious and respected jeweler, repeating over and over, my Habunash, my Habunash, my Habunash. They don't want us, they don't want us. But the King Idris, a pro-Western ruler at that time, he passed among the crowd with a megaphone in his car saying, "Brother, brother, go home! Don't touch the Jew! Don't touch the Jew! Don't ruin our reputation! Don't stain your hand with the Jewish blood! Go home!" Bekusha, our Arab, Muslim, Libyan black housekeeper, she warned us not to go outside because they are waiting for us at the main entrance to kill us. We are running out of food. There is the curfew. But our Arabian neighbor and our Christian neighbor, they bring us something to eat until they are discovered threatening. There is no more food. My mother convinced my father that I am the most suitable to slip away at night and to bring something to eat. It's more danger for my sister Ruby and Miriam because they are women, and for my brother Elia. He's older, he's tall, it could be seen. Simone and Raphael, they are too young, so I need to go. I learn how to avoid the soldier. They're holding a gun under the arm. I move like a fox. I am silent, invisible. I can see without being seen. Finally, they give us the permission to leave. I see my father, very elegant, holding 2 suitcases, walking with dignity, very serious. My brother Elia, the strongest one, is holding the Persian carpets. My mother is holding Raphael in one arm and taking my hands in one. My sister Ruby and Miriam are walking hand by hand in silence with self-respect. They cry. I hold my suitcases. The ships start to leave. I see my house, my old house, the beautiful sky of Tripoli. I didn't have time to say goodbye to my friend, to my school. to the synagogue, to the beach of Tripoli that I love.
Non c'erano strumenti in grado di misurare la mia nostalgia, di scandagliarne la profondità. Perché l'amore, quando è amore per la propria terra, annulla ogni misura o calcolo di tempo.
I hear the sound of the wave. I smell the scent of the Mediterranean Sea, the freshness caresses my face, and the water striking my body. The water, and I ask her, but who will water my plant? An Italian officer gave us a certificate. Refugee. Father, what is a refugee? A refugee is someone who is forced to leave his native land in search of another land that welcomes him. Is someone who lost his house, his shop, his money, his synagogue, his cemetery, his school. He lost everything. Finally, we arrived at the train station in Rome. Here, a soldier, young and smiling, and under their arm, they are not holding gun, but they're holding a nice and beautiful Italian girl. They kiss each other, it's allowed. Italy is ready to accept us. We are safe, alive, safe, safe. We are alive. We are safe. We are alive. We can go out. We can move. We are safe. We are alive. We are free. We settled in a Jewish area, in a very small apartment, but it's near the great synagogue. And being Shabbat, my mother lighted the 2 candles. And we go together with my father to pray at the synagogue. 1 year has passed, and it's the time for my bar mitzvah. I need to read a portion of the Torah in front of the congregation. The portion of the Torah is the story of Joseph, a biblical character. Make peace with his enemy, with his brother, interpret dreams, and fear only God. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל עמים ונתננו לתורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת לחיי עולם ונתת בתוכנו. ברוך Then the rabbi made a sermon and he said that in the Torah portion of the Bar Mitzvah boy is written his personal destiny. And then I see my father smiling for the first time, and we are happy with my family. We celebrate the Bar Mitzvah, and we dance with my family and with my new friends. September 1st, 1969, the Colonel Muammar Gaddafi made a military coup. He overthrew King Idris and he declared that the Jews are not allowed to come back in Libya. All the property, individual and collective, are confiscated. All the loan owed the Jews are cancelled. Our past was in Libya, our present in Italy, our future. At a certain stage of my life, after the suffering of the exile, the expulsion, and the nostalgia for my native land, for me, my native land has the flavor of the rosata. Rosata is a homemade almond milk that my mother makes with a fresh trickle of almonds. It's served iced, especially during the engagement. The Hannah. After that, I do many jobs, starting as a waiter at 12, continuing as a cook, and then as a fruit market seller, continue as a souvenir seller in the monument of Rome, in the trade fountains in the Colosseum, Spanish days. After receiving many signs of preparation and welcoming, I remember that cold winter when our Jewish neighbor brought us the woolen blanket, as we were not used to such a cold weather. After I became a businessman and I opened an office of import-export, traveling in many countries, in America, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia, working with the Stanford collector, with cameras, with video games, with clothing, with shoes. Then arriving in Europe, in Spain, in Madrid, and drinking in horchata de chufa is almond milk. It's not compared with the one of my mother, being clear. There, this beautiful, blonde, American girl with the blue eyes and blonde. She's looking at me. She's smiling. so many. After many years of psychotherapy and beginning to heal my wound of the exile, the refugee, making peace with my three identities, the Libyan, the Jewish, and the Italian. After studying psychology and becoming a Jungian psychoanalyst, working with many patients and learning that the suffering is always the same. The human being has the same emotions. Maybe the belief system, the way of thinking is different, but the emotions are universal. After that, I worked very hard, and I bought a house in Rome, in the center, in Trastevere, and I became a Trasteverino that loved to sing the Roman songs. Pieruccio ragazzino del tuffello, insiste per sapere come era nato. La madre gli rispose fietto bello, è stata la cicogna che ti ha portato. Oh mamma mia, questa cicogna, questa è proprio una vergogna. Poi la menzogna, oppure due papà, siete buoni. September 11, 2001. Terrorist attack at the Twin Tower. Indignation, of course. The smoke coming out from the tower reminds me of the smoke coming out from the building across the street when I was 12 years old. Suddenly, as a tap that has been closed for years, opened up. And my fear, my anger, my pain, my silent, rusty tears are coming out without control. Commitment, of course, with all my heart, with all myself, with all my soul. From that moment, I decided to fight terror, to stand for justice and to build peace. I decided to write a book, Peace Builder, Story of a Libyan Jewish Refugee. I know that it's going to be just a drop in the ocean, but I will write it anyway. Inspiration, of course, from the story of Joseph that I read in my bar mitzvah, from Martin Luther King, from Gandhi, and from a beautiful fairy tale from Africa.
We are constantly being bombarded by problems that we face, and sometimes we can get completely overwhelmed. The story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest being consumed by a fire. All the animals in the forest come out and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, very powerless, except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, takes a drop of water, and puts it on the fire, and goes up and down, up and down, up and down, as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals, like the elephant with a big trunk, could bring much more water. They are standing there helpless, and they are saying to the animal, what do you think you can do? You're too little. This fire is too big. Your wings are too little. And your beak so small, you can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discharge it, it turns to them without wasting any time and tells them, I'm doing the best I can. And that to me is what all of us should do. We should always feel like a hummingbird. I may feel insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can.
The beautiful storyteller is Wangari Maathai. Born in Kenya, she was a visionary and activist who became the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004. She leaves us with the words, I will be a hummingbird. I will do my best. But that is not the end of the story. The story continues. The little bird ignored the other animals' criticism and picked up another drop of water. Seeing that, a little elephant dipped his trunk in the river and sprayed water on a small burning bush. Also, a young pelican filled his large beak with water, pouring it on a burning tree. And so gathered all the young animals to put out the flames that were scorching the banks. Forgetting past resentments, the lion cubs, the antelopes, the baby monkeys, the tigers, the white eagle chick, and baby rabbit were all working hand in hand in an effort to put out the fire. Seeing that, the adults were filled with shame and began helping their young ones. Very soon, the fire was contained. Tired but satisfied, the animals gathered to celebrate their victory over the fire. The lion called out to the hummingbird and said,
Today we learned that the most important thing is not to be big and strong, but brave and generous. You taught us that even a little drop can be important. And when we all work together, we can put out a big fire. You are our symbol of trying to build a better world, where there is a place for everyone. Violence will be eliminated. War will be canceled. And death by starvation will be but a bad memory.
In the Report in the Torah is written, it's not up to you to finish the work of the tikkun, the reparation of the world. But it's not also up to you not to start it. It's also continue. It says, if I'm not for myself, so who is going to be for myself? And if I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Also my dream led me to this decision. You say that within each of us there is someone else who talks to us through dreams. And in Talmud they say, a dream that has been not interpreted is like a letter that has been not opened. In my dream, I see a Libyan flag coming strong and hitting my left arm, enter my flesh, and I am bleeding. And then the Israeli flag on my right arm, and I'm bleeding. And then the Italian flag straight to my heart, and I'm bleeding. The shirt get red, and then one American flag on my left leg, and I'm bleeding. And then a second American flag on my right leg, and then bleeding. My therapist say that my three identities, the Libyan, the Italian, and the Jewish, are wounded, and also my twin towers are wounded. There's a hand, an invisible hand, that is moving me with invisible string. I am like a wounded puppet. After I made this decision, many miracles happened in my life. I believe in miracles. Who doesn't believe in miracles is not realistic. Say David Ben-Gurion, the founder of the State of Israel. Since my commitment of 9/11, 9 miracles happened in my life. And for this one, I am very grateful to God that made the impossible to become a reality. First miracle, I discovered that my aunt Rina Debash, she is still alive. She is in Dar al-Wafa al-Muzani, the hospital of the Gaddafi family. She is 80 years old, and she is the last Jew in Libya. Second miracle. After 35 years of exile, Gaddafi decided to give the first visa for humanitarian reason to a Libyan Jew in exile to visit his sick aunt. September 11, 2002, exactly 1 year anniversary when I made my commitment, and I am in Tripoli. I'm grateful to God for all these miracles. Rina Debash. After 35 years, she wakes up from her coma and the psychic lethargy. The first time that I see her, she looks like this. I brought her some presents, some perfume, chocolate, soap, but she continued. The doctor said to me, "We are sorry, we leave you alone, maybe you stay alone." Then I take my Shaddai with my pendant, with the name of God, with the Star of David. I know it's danger. I put it on her neck. Adesso today, this is the pendant with the name of God. I am David, the son of Dina. Dina, you're the Hashmaida. Yes, he's my mother. Yes, he goes like this. Tata. I came here to visit you. Back to Anamashimak. Yes, I will take you with me. I need to make some paper, and you will come with me. Fourth miracle. The head of the national security, Musa Kusa, in the name of Gaddafi, gave me the permission to take out my aunt, the last Jew of Libya, but with one condition. First, I have to go to America to find a politician who is willing to start a dialogue to normalize the relationship with the Libya in order to be taken off from the list of the terrorist country. I accept the mission. I go on my expenses for 3 months in USA with the blessing of the chief rabbi Elie Toaf, and he sent me to the Nobel Prize for Peace, Elie Wiesel. After 3 months of searching, God led my steps. I end up in Washington DC at the Capitol Hill, in the office of the Congressman Tom Adams. Then he took over the mission. Fifth miracle, my aunt Rina Debash. Arrived anymore.
Tra i tagli agli arrivi internazionali, due signore d'età vinciono dalle transine. Aspettano una persona un po' speciale che viaggia con un ritardo enorme, ma non è colpa dell'aereo.
Io me la ricordavo 40 anni fa, e da 67 che siamo qui e non l'ho vista più. Noi credevamo completamente fosse morta.
E dice eccola qui, dopo 36 anni. Rita De Bach, l'ultima ebrea di Tripoli, ritrovata in una casa di riposo per un casuale disguido burocratico. Adesso, dopo una lunga trattativa con le autorità libiche, è arrivata a Roma un po' frastornata, dove ritrova parenti ormai vecchi e ricchi con i capelli brillanti. Anche l'ultima ebrea di Tripoli. Rita De Bach è in Italia, a Ponte, come recitano i suoi documenti. La storia del suo viaggio, incomprensibilmente lungo, fa arrestare un passato ancora molto presente. Come Rita De Bach oggi, anche allora gli ebrei hanno lasciato tutto da Tripoli, case, sinagoghe e tutti i loro beni, poi confiscati dal colonnello Gheddafi e non ancora restituiti. Chissà che foto simili non si possano fare in futuro anche in Tripoli.
6th miracle. Libya normalized their relationship with USA. I'm happy that my native land is no more longer in the list of the terrorist country. You just need to go home. After 22 days that I've been treated as a VIP, suddenly they come in my hotel, they pick me up from the room, they arrest me, are 20 people of the Secret Service. They put me in a room, they push me inside, they start to ask me questions, they surround me. Where are you from? What are you doing here? What is your name? Why are you here? What are you doing? What's the name of your father? What's the name of your mother? Why are you here? Why? Shawada! Shawada! And so this is the talis to pray. Shawada. Shawa. أنا أخاف كما ربي. I fear only God. There were giants, now they become small people. One of them said to me, "Ben Hamashi, okay, you can go." But they say to me, if you're going to speak about any of this, we're going to find you and we're going to kill you. They put me in a plane to Malta. Again, dispossessed, including the 6 mezuzot they bought for the synagogue and 10,000 euro to clean the synagogue. Again, traumatized, exiled for the second time. Dispossessed, dislocated. I cannot sleep. I don't feel safe in Malta. The people are following me, they're watching me, they try to talk with me. I go back to Rome. It's the same. I know that Gaddafi sent the people abroad to kill. I decided to go to Israel, to pray at the Wailing Wall, where the long arm of Gaddafi cannot reach me there. If I don't speak up, I'm a loser from the beginning. If I don't speak up, it's like it's never happened. If I don't speak up, no one will ever know. If I don't speak up, the news will never approach the world. If I don't speak up, this injustice will remain unpunished. If I don't speak up, other injustice will happen. If I don't speak up, I become their accomplice. If I don't speak up, I become weaker and they become stronger. If I don't speak up, I will get sick and I will die mute and invisible. After 5 months, I become seriously ill. I cannot work, I cannot love, I cannot live. And between dying, mute and invisible, all through the Gaddafi hand, I choose to break the wall of silence. I spoke up. The news came out. It's my first revolution. The legal ambassador of Rome said to me, if you stop to make noise, we're going to give you back everything and you're going to meet Gaddafi to reconcile. One week later, they returned me everything except the 6 mezuzot. In preparation of the meeting with Gaddafi, I experienced myself as the wounded refugee. But when I met him, I'm the proud Jewish, my big Star of David for all to see. And I speak with him in Italian, because I'm a proud Italian, and I wear my Libyan traditional dress. And he promised me that I will go back to Tripoli and to restore the synagogue. I shake his hand and I put the other hand. In this magic moment, I feel that I hold his hand and it's going to be on my turn, the time that I'm going to leave my hands. He promised me, yes, we're going to do the synagogue. Of course, his promise was never fulfilled. Eighth miracle. 17th of February 2011. The Arab Spring and the revolution broke up in Libya. I joined the rebel. I entered through the Egyptian border of Dar es Salaam. I feel that my mission is to be with the other that, like me, have been suffering the wound of the trauma and the invisible wound of the soul. I remember my grandmother's words when she said, عمل الخير وتساوي جناح وتساوي واللي حنا لمولاي يوم كل حدا حبيبي. Do good, and one day it will come back to you. Forget about it. Who has compassion for the others will receive compassion from God and will make everyone friends.
In Libia adesso per parlare di nuovi bombardamenti della NATO su Tripoli, ma intanto c'è un'altra battaglia che si sta combattendo, è quella contro l'intolleranza e l'antisemitismo propagandati proprio da Gheddafi. La nostra inviata Monica Peruzzi.
La NATO alza il tiro. Dopo i raid della notte, la quinta consecutiva di bombardamenti, Tripoli è stata colpita anche di giorno. Gli aerei dell'Alleanza hanno sganciato i loro ordigni su una caserma nell'area di Bab al-Aziza, a poca distanza dalla residenza di Gheddafi. Da Bruxelles fanno sapere che i raid notturni hanno distrutto una postazione di comando e controllo, sempre nella stessa area. A Misurata, intanto, è già iniziata la battaglia fra Daphnia e Zitan. A Bengasi, invece, è partito il conto alla rovescia per l'offensiva all'ex Cairo. 48, massimo 72 ore, e breve sarà riconquistata, assicurano. Ma c'è un pericolo ancora più sottile da sconfiggere, è l'intolleranza reciproca a cui il colonnello ha abituato il suo popolo con 42 anni di lavaggio del cervello, religiosi contro laici, tribù contro tribù e soprattutto Israele. Ecco perché in questo momento di transizione il lavoro di quest'uomo, David GERBI, assume una valenza particolare. Lui è un ebreo libico-italiano, costretto a scappare dalla Libia a causa della persecuzione sistematica fatta dal regime sugli ebrei.
Sono venuto qua la prima volta nel 2002 per poter via fuori dell'ultima ebrea di Libia, che è mia zia Rina De Basce. In quell'occasione mi hanno chiesto se potevo aiutare a creare un rapporto con gli Stati Uniti per ringraziarmi. Poi nel 2007 mi hanno invitato come uomo di pace, poi invece sono venuti gli agenti segreti, mi hanno preso, mi hanno confiscato tutto, mi hanno arrestato.
Gheddafi non sembra affatto scrupolo di utilizzare le persone per il proprio tornaconto e David non fa eccezione, però nonostante tutto ha deciso di tornare qui in questo momento di transizione per aiutare la sua gente qui all'ospedale psichiatrico di Bengasi.
Sono ritornato qua perché ho deciso di venire a dare una mano al dottor Ali, che è il direttore di questo ospedale psichiatrico, perché io so come si lavora con i traumi dovuti alla guerra.
Il lavoro di riconciliazione fra le varie anime della Libia è appena iniziato. Forse il paese, alle prese con i tanti problemi legati alla guerra, avrà bisogno di tempo per accettare il vecchio nemico di sempre. Ma ogni piccolo passo, ogni piccola conquista è già di per sé una rivoluzione. Monica Peruzzi, Sky TG24, Bengasi, Libia.
The Gheddafi soldier penetrate among the rebel. They discover that I'm in the Hotel the Best in Benghazi. They try to find me in my room and they want to kill me, to suffocate me, to throw me from the window. The rebels say to me, it's better that you leave and you come back via Tunisia. I go to Tunisia, and in Tunis, I meet with my Amazigh friends, the rebel. And today, we go together in the Jebel Nefusa mountains. My friend Fatih Khalifa. I asked them to take me to the Jewish cemetery where 500 Jewish people are buried. They died during the Shoah. I go there and I see a small grave. There's a child. I light 3 candles, one for a child, for all the children, one for all the men, and one for all the women. Put 3 stones. I do the Kaddish for all the people here. התקדם והתקדש שמר בבא, עמד ורגלו טבע מלמוד טבע עצמך וכנה לגבי במשך חלק, היכון ויונכון לתוכל בתיסר בקהל עצמם קריב ומואמן, בין יש שמר בבא מבורך לאדם ומהר תברך, משתבח ותפארת ומעט עשה תדה ותעלה דלה שמד הקשה וילכו, אמן. לילה מכל ברכתה שנתת שפחתה ולחמתה דמירה בעלמה ומואמן. יש שמר בבא משמעיה וחיים טובים, עלינו ויחד ישראל ומואמן. עושה שלום מלמה וברחמה ועושה שלום עלינו והכל עמו ישראל ומואמן. They say to me that it's the first time that a Jewish person arrived here since 1942. Since that moment, I never felt alone. I felt the spirit of this cemetery always with me. Finally, we arrived to Tripoli. From the hotel, I can see the Sladar Bishki, the synagogue. I'm so happy that it has been not destroyed during the bombing. I see the Jewish quarter, Harazaya Harakbira, completely desert after 45 years. I see the 2,000 years old Jewish cemetery totally destroyed. Where my relatives, my forefather and foremothers, and the father of Nina, that she is here with us, is buried. Gaddafi destroyed completely the cemetery, and he built the highway and the building of Burj al-Fatah. I see this beautiful Mediterranean Sea. The Amazigh rebels are the first one to recognize me as a representative of the Libyan Jew in exile. They call me Uday Agraoui, that means Libyan Jewish revolutionary. And they introduced me to the Transitional National Council. I'm invited with the member to go to Benghazi, to be part of the parliament as a representative of the Libyan Jew in exile. I meet with Mustafa Abdul Jalil, the head of the rebel. And also with Salam Gnan, the deputy. I give them the letter of support and solidarity for the new and free democratic Libya on behalf of the World Organization of Libyan Jews. It's almost Yom Kippur, and I want to pray at the synagogue that Gaddafi transformed it in a dump. They say to me, okay, you can go, clean your synagogue, break the wall, take out the garbage, and show to the rest of the world the difference between the Libya of Gaddafi and the new, free, and democratic Libya This is the night miracle. My dreams come true. Day and night, also in my dream, I feel the presence of my relatives, my forefathers and my foremother, and my ancestor, that they are buried under the building of the Synod, under the building in front of my hotel. I feel that they are praying for me and watching over me. And the word of Jung come to my mind.
I feel very strongly that I am under the influence of things or questions which were left incomplete and unanswered by my parents and grandparents and more distant ancestors. It often seems as if there were an impersonal karma within a family, which is passed on from parents to children. It always seemed to me that I had to answer questions which fate had posed to my forefathers and which had not yet been answered, or as if I had to complete or perhaps continue things which previous ages had left unfinished.
It is time. I will break the wall. I will do it for myself. I will do it for my father. And I will do it also for my ancestors. Need justice. No matter if they're Arab, if they're Aussie, if they're black, if they're gay, or if they're Tuareg, no matter what, we all need to be together one people.
I do not want that the name of God is the name of Jewish people, the name of Christian people is the God of the Muslims. Is not permitted to stay in the middle of this garbage.
I'm very happy, I'm very proud of myself, I feel my dignity. My smile is coming back, so I'm moved, I have emotion. I'm not emotional disconnect or totally stuck with my fear of retaliation or disempowered because Gaddafi will be coming and killing me. I feel much more powerful. Maybe I'm a little fat, but I'm powerful. I was trying to clean the synagogue this morning. And they say to me, we need to close the synagogue again because the people are coming here with the gun and they want to kill you. This is a symbolic act. Like yesterday, it was open and now it's closed again. And the same story is repeating from generation and generation and generation.
And you received threats, David? Yes. And they told me...
What did they say? What do they think?
They told me that if I'm not leaving now, they will come and they're going to kill you. They're going to kill me because they don't want the Jewish here.
Go back.
Yes.
Let's go right now. Let's go right now. Okay. You got to move also.
Today they don't want the Jew, tomorrow they will not accept the black from the Gadames, and the day after tomorrow they don't accept the Amazigh language, and then they don't even accept the Tuareg. So it's going to be again discriminations. I didn't come to ask me back. I just come one thing, just to clean the synagogue. This is what I wanted to do, and I was helping Libya. I want to help, but I'm not going to give up my dignity, my Jewish dignity. What Gaddafi did, he wanted to eliminate
the diversity. They need to include the diversity. You want democracy, you want freedom, you want justice, you want pluralism, you want social rights, you need to take all the package. This is the time for them to speak up and take a position and say, okay, with our Libyan brother, who cares if they're Jewish, or Muslim, or Christian?
This is a symbol of a concrete possible reconciliation between the Jew and the Muslim. This place was a place where Muslim and Jew coexist together in peace.
Is there real democracy here right now? No. They need to make a decision, because to play duplicity, it will not last forever. GERBI says a National Transitional Council spokesman accuses him of being premature and provocative in his demands. And this letter from the Department of Archaeology accuses him of breaking law number 3, of breaking down the wall without permission. And just a few blocks away in the hotel, GERBI says he'll wait here until his demands are met, that he gets to practice his religion in its place.
Diana is virtually reopened in Tripoli's most famous synagogue after physical preservation efforts were stymied. This video features a tour of our exclusive digital reconstruction intermixed with rare archival and contemporary photographs. Dr. David GERBI returned to his ancestral home this past spring to take part in the overthrow of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Remaining in Libya after the fall of Gaddafi's regime, GERBI single-handedly reopened the Darbishi synagogue for prayer, his own, as Libya's historic Jewish community is completely gone. His work was abruptly halted after angry mobs massed in Tripoli and Benghazi on October 8th, Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday of atonement. The mobs sent the message with chants and signs that there is no place for the Jews in Libya. GERBI has left the country, exiled for the second time, and now there is no telling if the synagogue will ever be restored.
October 11, 2011, exactly 2 years ago. In order to ease tension, I left Libya with dignity, helping the wounded Libyan rebel with the Italian plane. Since October 2011, until today, I continue to support the democracy in Libya, and I fight with the diplomatic and political channel, with Libya, with Israel, with USA, and with Italy. September 11, 2012, massacre in Benghazi. The ambassador Christopher Stevens and another 3 officers are murdered by the Islamist extremists.
condemned the action of the murder of the ambassador Christopher Stevens. In 1492, under the monarchy of the Queen Isabel, my people become refugees and been exiled because they are Jewish. We're Jewish. In 1967, under the monarchy of King Idris, we become refugees because we are Jewish. In 1969, with the dictatorship of Gaddafi, we remain refugees because we are Jewish. In 2011, with the transitional national government of Abdul Jalil, we remain refugees because we are Jewish. In 2012, with the new government, we remain refugees because we are Jewish. In 2013, with the new elected government, we remain refugees because we are Jewish. Today in the world, there are 45 million refugees from different color, religion, ethnicity. I'm grateful to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. However, our injustice never expires. All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men do nothing. The word that the Dalai Lama Nobel Prize for Peace, he wrote in the preface of my book, are a blessing. And this gives me strength to continue my fight for the respect of the universal human rights.
Just as I look forward to returning one day to my homeland and that of my ancestors, I pray that David GERBI's project to build peace for his community in Libya may be blessed with success.
I continue to bring my testimony to what it means to pass through the experience of ethnic, racial hatred and anti-Semitism and still keep hope in humanity and the good people. I continue to bring my testimony to affirm my commitment to fight terror, to stand for justice, to cultivate forgiveness and loving kindness, and to build peace. Because we are one family under one sky, living in one home that we call the earth. I continue to bring my testimony, most of all, to affirm my faith in God and my gratitude to God.